What's up everybody and welcome back to another video. As you can see, I have temporarily lost my filming studio upstairs, so I'm back down in my apartment. What do you guys think of this location? Is it okay? I try to put a little fancy light on the mat back there like a professional YouTuber. It's much easier to do it here than up there because then I don't have to wait. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about good debt versus bad debt. Just kidding, all debt is evil. No, but for real guys, I want to talk with you guys about good debt and bad debt. And the reason being is I'm always talking about being debt free and how important I think it is. But I have all types of different people that are following me. Some that are in tremendous amounts of debt with low income, and some that have a lot of money, a high net worth, and they leverage debt. And so they're always saying, well, John, what about the debt that I'm using here to make money? Look, I agree. You can leverage debt. There is a such thing as good debt. But I am preaching to the masses here. I'm speaking to the 95% of people that do not know how to manage their bad debt, much less know how to strategize what we call good debt. While I do consult for and educate higher net worth individuals and show them how to better strategize for good debt, the goal of this channel is to get to the masses and teach people how to manage the debt they currently have and how to master money first before learning the higher end strategies such as leveraging good debt to make a higher percent interest return on the interest that you're paying. So again, I understand that some of you do have debt and you're leveraging it. I am not talking to you. Let's start with bad debts, as most of us are familiar with these. These are your credit cards, your auto loans, your mortgage payments. Yes, I said it, your mortgage payments. While most people don't agree with me on this, sometimes, in fact, almost 80% of the time, your mortgage, the house you live in, is a bad debt because you are not leveraging it to make more money. Now, if it's in a high appreciation zone or if you completely paid cash for it, those can change that. But, and I'm not the only one saying this, you got to remember that my mentors are the ones that taught me this, and these are some of the top real estate investors in the world. The house that you live in is usually not an asset nor a good debt, and I'll save that for another video. But other things are like medical expenses and people you owe money to. Anything that you're paying interest on and not leveraging it to make more interest for yourself or to give yourself a higher income is usually a bad debt. My focus and what I teach people is to try to get rid of that bad debt as soon as possible. It's not serving anyone any good other than the people you are paying interest to. What I often refer to it as paying for other people's dreams. If you're paying interest to somebody and you're not leveraging it to better yourself, then you are often helping someone else fulfill their dreams, building their business, paying for their vacations, paying for their yachts. Whatever the case may be, you're helping them fulfill their dreams while you're not building your own, and that's why I call them, and everybody calls them, bad debts. Now let's talk about good debts. Good debts are debts that can increase your earning potential or your income potential in the future by borrowing now. A perfect example of this is if you go buy an income property, a rental property, and you borrow money from the bank at 6%, and you put a tenant in there, you are oftentimes, if you did your numbers right and you bought right, you are oftentimes not only going to make a higher percent interest return than that 6%, but the tenant in that house or that apartment is going to be paying your mortgage for you. So it's costing you absolutely nothing, and in fact it should be cash flowing or making you money. So yes, technically you are in debt. You owe the bank, let's say it's $100,000, but the tenant is paying that mortgage and you are going to, at the end of the day, make $130,000 on it, or whatever the case may be, whatever your cash flow is. And if you ever sell that asset, you're going to make much more in return. So all you are doing is leveraging other people's money, and that is a good debt. Another example of a good debt is how we run our company, our investment company. Yes, we owe our investors money. So yes, technically we are in debt, but we are taking that investor's money and we are buying assets and flipping them for a higher return and then giving them a return on their money, but we are making the difference. So it didn't cost us any money, it cost us time, but it didn't cost us any money, and it's getting a higher ROI than we owe to the investor. And that's why those are also good debts. All right, now let's talk about a tricky one, student loans. This is a sometimes good or bad debt. I'll give two examples here. All right, let's start with student one. Student one wants to go to nursing school. So they go off to a low cost college or community college or a local college, not a high-end Ivy League college, and they take out $50,000, $60,000 in student loans and they go to nursing school for 3 to 4 years. They get out, they graduate, and they immediately start making $55,000 to $75,000 a year depending on where they live, and they pay off that debt in 3 years, and now they've increased their earning potential and they are debt free after 3 years. That is a good debt on that student loan. That paid a high ROI compared to the amount invested compared to what you get back. and now they are debt-free, making good money. So that is a good example of using student debt. Now let's talk about a bad debt or a bad student loan example. Student 2 doesn't know what they want to be, they just know they want to go off to a high-end college because it looks cool and all their friends are doing it. So they go off to college for 2 to 3 years, they have no idea what they want to do. Real quick, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what you want to do and going off to college. But going off to a very expensive college and taking loans for that is a bad idea. Anyway, back to the story. They drop out after 2 to 3 years because they just don't like it, it's not for them, and they're still lost, again, fine, but they get a regular part-time job, and let's say they're making $25,000 a year, but now they have $80,000 or $90,000 in student loans from this high-end college. That is bad student loan debt. That is an example of bad debt. You do not want to do that. Again, I want to say again, it's okay to not know what you want to be. It is not okay to rack up a bunch of debt guessing. You do not want to do that. So that's 2 examples of why student loans can either be good or a bad form of debt. Now lastly, let's talk about the person, because this is huge as well. Personalities often determine whether it's a good debt or a bad debt. I'm going to give you 2 examples again. One example is Rihanna and I. We hate all debt, period. We don't have any debt. All the houses we have, all the cars we have, we pay for in cash. There was no student loans. We paid for her college in cash. And that's because that helps us sleep better at night. Now we will eventually leverage our incomes and our properties and get loans out against them to pay for holding properties. We will do that eventually. We're working up to it because we're very cautious about it. We haven't had debt in a long time, and frankly we're scared of it, but we are trying to get over that because we know we can make much more money that way leveraging other people's money. But let's take my good friend Charles for example. He's an investor in our company. He has millions of dollars in debt and he sleeps just fine. In fact, we joke all the time that while I couldn't sleep if I had debt, he probably couldn't sleep if he didn't have debt. And what he's doing with all that debt is he's leveraging it to buy millions and millions of dollars worth of property and income producing assets. So a lot of that is good debt. Now he can go to sleep at night knowing he only has $10,000 to his name liquid, while I could not. You know, Rihanna and I's emergency fund is not just an emergency fund. That's like 6 months of savings. We could pretty much stop working indefinitely and be okay, and that helps us sleep better at night. We like that idea. We like that we could pack up right now, quit every single thing we're doing, and be just fine for the foreseeable future. So a lot of this has to do with personalities. Not everybody manages risk the same, not everybody handles risk the same, and that's really up to you, and you need to decide what's best for you. Don't let others pressure you into having debt or pressure you into not having debt just because of the way they feel. You need to decide what's best for you. All right guys, well I'm gonna wrap up the video with that. I hope it helps explain good debt versus bad debt and why all debt is not terrible. If you have any questions, leave them below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm. I'm really trying to make it to 1,000 like I said in my previous videos. I'm about 2.5 months away and about 200 subscribers away, so I really appreciate any help. Also subscribe as that helps as well. All right guys, I'll see you on the next video.